In the previous video, I covered the Space Mouse or 3D mouse, the mouse that I use with the multi-function keys on the side, and the X keys, allowing you to program for multiple functions. Now in this video, I'm going to cover layout of Mastercam, the ribbon bar, and how you can customize it, then also how to add hotkey functions. I spend anywhere from 8 to 10 hours a day using Mastercam, and one of the things that I found is the brightness on the initial install. So what you see here is basically a typical fresh install, and with the bright white and light colors, looking at it all day, I found that it tends to be uncomfortable. So one of the first things that I do is change everything to a darker setup. Under the customize ribbon bar, under options, I changed the theme to dark gray. And for me, my personal preference, I like to go under the colors and change the gradient to black and turn the gradient off. So I got a total black screen. One other thing I like to change is these quick masks in the auto cursor bar is under configuration, screen. I usually turn that almost all the way down. Once you hover over it, it comes back to life. So I don't need to see them until I hover over it to make any changes. One of the things that became obvious using Mastercam years ago was what I call mouse mileage. When you have your mouse on the screen when you're working, you're usually working right in the center of the screen. And then when I have to go from one area to create a line, and then I have to come over the other side of the screen to do some trimming, and I'm going back and forth, or starting to hop over through tabs to grab different items. That's where I really want to start customizing my ribbon bar. Look at is, this is kind of like your work envelope right here. Everything that you do is usually right in the center of the screen, and that goes the same thing with your ribbon bar. If your mouse is here, you like to have all your most common commands right in the center of the screen, and your less common towards the outside. So what you like to do, and what I've done, is really look at the functions and commands that I use all the time and try and concentrate those in the center. Also, look at items that are in different tabs that you're flipping back and forth all the time and add those into the same tab. That way you're not bouncing back and forth and back and forth. So for instance, I brought up here's 3 of the tabs that I use, or I create and I use most of the time. This is my design tab, and my most commonly used functions are right here, right in the center, and my least common are outside. So I do create letters every once in a while, but it's not often, so it's all the way on the end. The same thing on the other end. I got stretch and scale, that's all the way out on one end. What you're not going to see is even my more commonly used functions. Create line, create arc, and a few other functions. They're not even up here because I have hotkeys associated to those, and I just hit a button, it takes me right to them. The other thing is, you notice that I shortened up all these call-outs on, because when you have the full command on there. If we go to wireframe, you'll see that it eats up all this valuable space. All these icons with all these long descriptions on there just eat up a lot of ribbon space. If you're accustomed to the icon itself, you really don't need that in there. So what you can actually do is shorten that up, and that's just easy as going to customize, going to wireframe. You can right mouse click on your icon and rename it. You can rename it whatever you like, especially the ones where the icons are minimized, because anything that's added to it starts eating up space drastically. Under the icon, you have larger icons, you have the icon itself, and you have a larger envelope there. So I just shortened it down to a short abbreviation. I know what they are. I could actually take it out, but just leave it up there just in case somebody else needs to use my computer and it's there. But if I did leave in all those descriptions, I wouldn't be able to fit probably half of the stuff in here. This is my design, and here's my toolpaths. My most commonly used toolpaths are right here in the center. My least common are outside. I also took functions from other tabs and put them into here. Here's surface creation and surface editing, and I also have some solid editing down here, so that while I am doing toolpaths to a certain project, I don't have to flip over to the surfaces and then come back to the solids tab and then go back to the model prep tab. My most commonly used ones when I'm doing toolpaths are all up here. Yours may be different. Everybody's functions are different. Different types of toolpaths, different work environments, so your toolpaths can look drastically different than this. That's where you just got to sit down and figure out, what do I use the most common, place it in the center, and my least common, start putting it towards the outside. My drafting, I did drafting, the same thing. My most commonly used item is horizontal and vertical. I made one group for horizontal, one group for vertical. That way I can just come in and grab it. I don't have to go into the horizontal, or if let's do it the regular way. You go into drafting, so you go hit drafting, and then you got to go over to horizontal. If I want to do vertical, then I got to do the drop down, go to vertical. So that's a lot of extra mouse movement, a lot of clicks, where I just go to here, I got my horizontal there, I got my vertical there, and it's real easy. And it's right in the center. Now, how did I get that in the center? Because whenever you create a tab, it starts from the left and goes to the right. Well, if you look, you see this line that's right here. All I did, if I go into customize, I created a new, under the drafting, I created a new group, and I'm going to move this up between dimension horizontal, and I'm going to rename it. And all I did was just hit the shift key and the dash key to create a line in there. Hit OK, hit OK. Now you see right here, there's nothing in there, but it pushed this out. So you can use that as separators to separate things, to push things over. And that's all I did over here, was I just added some spaces in here, or dashes, and it just pushed all my icons over right into the center. And that way it's right there. I'm not going back over to the left, back over to the left, back over to the left all the time. So anytime I'm clicking between tabs, I'm actually just having most of my icons in the center that I use all the time. This could save you a lot of clicks, a lot of mouse mileage, and I think you'll find that it'll be more comfortable as you get used to it.